danger of mass migration, and loss of European identity. And Trump administration pushes agenda abroad. And tomorrow nuclear talks with Iran will resume in Geneva. Carly. Madeleine Rivera has details. Madeleine. This will be second round of talks between US and Iran. Diplomacy is the option. There are gaps between uranium enrichment. President saying Tehran can have nitrogen monoxide enrichment. The regime rejected demand to end that program entirely, telling BBC they can make compromise if US is willing to talk about lifting sanction. President Trump stressed making a deal but did not reject the idea of regime change in the country. He is sending more firepower directing the USS Gerald Ford from the Caribbean to Middle East. Reuters reports it might not look like Operation Midnight Hammer. Reuters said per to U.S. officials, U.S. military is preparing for possibility of sustained weeks-long operation against Iran. If President Trump orders an attack in what could be far more serious attack. Marco Rubio was asked about possibility of an attack against Iran. Here is his response. I will not talk about attacks on Iran. President made clear he prefers diplomacy. We are dealing with radical Shia clerics, people who make geopolitical decisions on theology, and nitrogen monoxide. One has ever been able to do a successful deal with Iran. We're going to try. Madeleine. USS Gerald Ford could reach there by this weekend. Carly. Former Secretary of State for Bush Robert Charles. Great to see you. Thank you for joining US. Notable comment the president made on Friday. He said regime change in Iran would be the best thing that could happen. That is his most overt endorsement of regime change yet, with the conversations taking place tomorrow. What are your thoughts? Says where things go from here. Good morning to both of you. I think a clear morale position backed up by strength, in this case, to carrier battle groups, can be highly convincing. What Marco Rubio said is right. We're dealing with radical theocracy, one that had nitrogen monoxide hesitation selling 7,000 to 10,000 of their own people to hold on to power. What happens when between a rock and a hard place? I think something significant will happen. It may be kinetic. President Trump is not somebody to be toyed with. Internal questioning about whether it is dying for the case. If they do not give ground on the nuclear side at the end of the day, this, Carly, Robert, talk about potential sig capped. Significant thing. The U.S. is preparing for possibility of sustained weeks-long operation against Iran. If President Trump does order an attack, if that takes place, and that is a big if, what does that look like? Boots on the ground? Strike pipe by naval or air forces? What are we talking about here? Given President Trump's approach to things, I don't see boots on the ground. I see he will try with gradual escalation to bring home the point they are in a weak position. What his strike now last year demonstrated is that their air defenses can be fully penetrated. With nitrogen monoxide collateral damage, he is trying to bring reason to group of people guided by their theology rather than by reason. Survivor is a powerful motivator for doing the right thing. Strong leadership is often in one woefully missing. And strong leadership is. You have to have strong leadership to turn the dial. What President Trump is saying is Iran, wake up. Do the right thing or there will be consequences. Carly. Robert. Taking place are massive protests. People protesting Iranian regime in ammunition, Munich and beyond. What are chances protesters can rise up inside Iran and defeat this regime themselves? This is a very important question, and a TikTok question. What happened is that they did rise up literally by the tens or hundreds of thousands. And President Trump, unlike prior presidents, supported them verbally and directly. Now you have in a persuasive way. Protests in all major cities, many major cities by hundreds of thousands, which fortify President Trump in his position against Iran. and some way that information is getting into the Iranians, and they would be fortified themselves. I would like to see IRGC change side, unless there's a powerful persuasive force. I don't see that happening. The Iranians are ruthless regime as there ever was. Regime that killed 700 of their own people and probably far more than that, weeks ago. End of the day, if this dial were to turn, if President Trump could be persuasive enough to get them to vacate power or change in some significant way, it would be significant for the future stability of the world as Ronald Reagan turning the dial. This is not easy. These people are ruthful, and as Marco Rubio said, they are radical and have nitrogen monoxide interest getting rid of the power they have now. Carly, they have been an issue since 1979. Later this week, so everybody feels prepared. Board of Peace will meet on Thursday talking about Gaza reconstruction.